Isabel, did you save Helen Hinkle from the fate of living as a vampire eternally?
I think I heard it say it's me.
I think I did too, but can you give us more clarity on that?
I heard it say yes.
I did too. Said yes again.
Did
Okay.
when I asked her,
She clearly, from Isabel's side, she says yes, she helped her.
so she must have. They must have connected from like in a medium standpoint somehow. They must have connected in a special way. Well,
the story says Isabel came to Helen while she was alive and comforted her during her abuse periods. So obviously Isabel had some sort of like compassion towards Helen and came to her because she was a medium and was able to come to her and comforted her.
I didn't see the time. When were they in contact? How many years after Isabella's death?
You would ask me that right now. I think it was like 100 years later.
Okay.
So like sometime.
Yeah, it was in the 1790s.
Yeah, some time had passed.
You're right. It was in the 1791, I believe.
Yeah. So that, to me, that just proves that Isabel's spirit is powerful.
They're very powerful, and her mother's too.
If they were able to linger for hundreds of years to the present day.
Yeah, they must have tapped into something.
There's some fucking power underlying that shit.
Well, that whole fort thing could have been.
That's why that was my theory.
I think that was a very strong, like a power anchoring spell.
Definitely.
Because it's such a physical thing that maybe she physically anchored their power to this land, like pretty much consecrated their power here, you know?
Well, I don't know where Fort St. Louis was. It doesn't say.
It was in that area.
All it says in the history is it says they traveled northward to San Marcos. So Fort St. Louis must have been more south of here. How far south? I don't know. It doesn't say in the history.
But that magnitude, it could have solidified their power within like a really vast region. You know what I mean?
Definitely.
Because it was an entire fort. I mean, forts weren't. They had a populace.
There must have been hundreds of people there, at the least. A small town nowadays has like 300 people. So if you think about a fort in those days, even if it was like the smallest of the small, it must have had like 300, 500
It would
people.
at least have 100 to 200 people there at the least.
Yeah. So that's a lot of fucking people.
Because it wasn't just an outpost or something, it was a freaking fort.
Yeah, it was a fort of soldiers. So they mostly would have all been men. Obviously Genevieve was there with her father, so there would have been like some level of like women and children there, but it mostly would have been men.
Yeah.
Soldiers that were apparently sacrificed through this. Which is a lot of energy. I feel like we should ask like a few more questions.
To get any more clarity, we'd have to try to contact Genevieve more to see what her underlying...
No.
Yeah, that would be...
I do not want to talk to Genevieve anymore.
I don't want to do that.
She was petrifying. I kind of want to ask Isabel like a couple more questions before we end tonight. Just to like... We've only asked her like a couple questions. Let's like ask her a few more and then we can close this night. Just to get more details. Alright guys, so we had an unfortunate technicality issue, which is no surprise because, you know, Mercury retrograde is starting tonight. So that's probably why. But basically, that last clip ended and we thought we were still recording. So we did ask a couple more questions. We asked Isabel, is she collecting spirits like Helen? To which she did reply, she said Helen through the app.
Twice.
But the second time she said Helen, I had already asked the second question. Are you helping spirits move on to Isabel? And she said Helen again. And then that's when we noticed that the camera had stopped recording.
And we asked her if she was with Helen too, right?
I think so. Something like that.
If she was at peace with Helen too.
We recorded for like 20 minutes thinking the camera was on. Or we thought we were recording for like 20 minutes. So what we're going to go ahead and do is jump back to where the camera cut off and ask those same questions again, and hopefully now that we're recording she will answer the same answers and we will see. But since we already told you what she answered, if she does answer the same questions again in the same way, that will just further confirm this session. So hopefully that's what happens. However, since like 20 minutes has elapsed, we are going to go ahead and start off calling on Isabel again, just to make sure, since we had to like rewatch the footage and see where it cut off last time. So we're going to call on Isabel once more. Isabel, Gery, we call on you. Please come forward now and communicate with us the truth, to tell us your story and your message for all to know. We ask this in love and in peace, and we ask that you come in the same and answer our questions truthfully to get your message and your story out. We thank you, and Samodabi.
Samodabi.
Oh, dude, her energy feels so much more intense. Not intense in a bad way either. Like Genevieve's energy felt intense in a bad way.
It's just more palpable.
Isabel's energy feels intense in like a way like I am here. You know what I mean? That's how it feels to me. Does it feel negative though at all? Okay. So we'll just pick this up right where we would have been when the other clip ended. Isabel, are you collecting spirits? What was that?
Your phone battery.
Oh, okay. That startled the shit out of me. But what happened? Oh shit, that's not even What is happening? God damn it, this is what happened. God, it's like so tangled. Do you see that?
Yeah.
It's like tied in a knot around the other cords.
Okay. As tangled as it could be?
No, it can be closer. The audacity of these cords. Okay. So, I can probably still put it on the Ouija board.
Yep.
Like, just barely. But it's like upside down now on the camera's view. Oh well. Okay. So where you will be watching this now, I will have cut it to this point because apparently the cords, Mercury retrograde, like I said, wanted to be tangled. So I had to plug in my phone because the battery was dying. But now we can continue with the session. I still have it on the Ouija board, so we're still good on that aspect. And we will just continue again. Hopefully Isabel is not like so irritated that she just left. Please don't leave, Isabel. Okay. So.
I don't think so. We're absolutely maintaining activity here, so.
Isabel, are you collecting spirits like Helen Hinkle and other disturbed, tortured, abused souls? say Helen again?
I thought I heard you say Helen, like a small Helen in there.
It whispered Helen right there.
I heard it.
Okay.
I heard it whispered before too. It was like
It said Helen again right there. So it has said Helen, I think, at least 4 times.
I think it said help.
Did it?
Like she's helping them. Like, you know what I mean?
Well, that was the second question. Okay. The second question I had asked earlier was, Isabel, are you helping spirits to move on? That was the second question. That's what the question I'm asking. Now, let's see what Isabel has to say. It said children. Did you hear that?
Yeah.
It said children.
You hear that? It's like a little kid said that she helps.
I didn't hear that.
Yeah, like a little kid voice almost.
Ew. I hate when it does that. It definitely feels like there's more than one spirit talking here. Do you feel that too? So that's interesting. I feel like Isabel is here.
But she's surrounded with those other...
But there's other spirits with her. That's what it feels like.
Like they all comfort each other probably?
Probably. That is what it's feeling like to me. With this. Very interesting. But let's try one more time and see if we can get Isabel to give us a very clear answer. Like, is she helping these spirits to move on? Okay.
Or just to find comfort in there after.
Okay, yeah, let's ask it like that. Because it seemed like she gave a clear answer if she's helping them to move on. So let's ask, is she comforting them instead in some way? Isabel, we would like to know if you are in some way comforting these poor abused spirits in the afterlife. Please let us know.
Yes. I heard her say yes right there.
She said yes.
Isabella,
I feel a weird energy in my head.
Isabella, did you have a special love for Helen? She said take nothing. Did you hear that say take nothing?
I don't know if you're gonna believe this or not, but it feels like as if I have felt a spirit reach into my head on this side, like with its hand. It feels fucking bizarre, but that is what I just felt on the side of my head right now. What the fuck could that even mean or be? Isabel, did you just touch my head?
Did you hear it say Alamo?
I heard it say yes, and then I heard it say Alamo.
What does that even mean?
Alamo.
What could that even mean?
I don't know, because Alamo was years after this happened. But I clearly heard say yes to touching my head.
Yeah, it did.
Did you hear that?
Yeah.
Okay guys, so we have got some very serious communication going on here. We have got detailed responses from Genevieve, from Helen, now from Isabel, that we're communicating with now through the Necrophonic app. So we're going to ask one more question because we've been sitting here for like 2 hours. So we're like ready to end this seance. But we're going to ask one more question before we go ahead and end tonight's seance. We might communicate with these spirits at a later date. But for this Hallows Eve episode, we're going to go ahead and end on this last question with Isabel. So, you want to ask it?
Sure.
Okay.
Alright. Isabella, would you ever be able to forgive your mom for all the things that happened?
Good question. Yes.
What the heck?
Did this just move?
I think I saw it move. It said yes, no, like...
It said yes and
what
no.
What does that even mean?
It said yes and no.
And look, the thing was swinging and everything. Look, it's moving in there.
Yeah, it's still moving.
It's moving in there.
Dude.
It shook for some reason, and we're not even touching it. Oh my god.
It moved again.
What the heck, dude?
That is not me.
And yeah, my legs aren't on it at all. Wow.
Dude, she said yes and no,
yes,
and
no.
then it just shook. What does that even mean?
That's like a... It sounds like a...
Complex.
Like she wants to but can't kind of thing.
Yeah, that sounds like a realistic situation. Like she wants to forgive her mom but she can't. Or like she'll forgive her but she won't let go.
Part of her wants to forgive her but part of her can't.
Or like she forgives her mom but that doesn't mean she's gonna accept her.
Yeah, because you can forgive somebody but you can never, but like you can't.
That type of situation.
Even if you forgive someone, doesn't mean you have to trust them or let them back in your life or back into your presence. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's kind of what it felt like to me.
Because Isabella seems like she's more of the forgiving type of person, but she has her own morals.
Yeah, it also seems like she's too evolved to let her mom back into her life in the current state that her mom is in. Well, let's just end our session with that. Like I said, let's tell... I don't really know how to tell Isabel goodbye. Let's just use the Ouija board to say goodbye. Like we've been doing. Goodbye, Isabel. We would like to thank you for communicating with us tonight and for imparting your messages and communication and your story and your truth. And we bid you farewell in peace and in love and respect, and we hope that you will come and communicate with us later. Thank you, and so would it be.
So would it be. Wow.
So that's going to be all for the video, for our little Halloween All Hallows Eve seance. Thank you for watching. If you noticed anything that maybe we didn't, like in the candles in the background or something, because we're like super focused on the communication, please leave that below in the comments as well. And definitely we will be coming back with more seances and communication things going on with the Gery witches and some other things going on around locally. So with that said, we bid you a happy Halloween and happy Samhain. Thank you for watching, and as always, hail to the witches, hail Hecate, and blessed be.
Bye.